just talked, you know how special you were to your dad, and being a dad to daughters, it was wonderful to see and witness that special relationship. It's weird. You've been invited to a celebration of life, and you all got little sad frowns on there, which would totally piss off Mark. If you know Mark, he'd be like, dude, this should be the biggest party. Mark was certainly a man of contradiction, to say the least. Maybe one of the nerdiest and coolest people I've ever met. He was a technologist, certainly. On one hand, you think, yeah, this guy is all about science and math. And then on the other side, I look at other parts of the room, it's just like, what are you talking about? He's like this artistic, creative musician. And seeing that confluence was really very much of a contradiction. He was equally brilliant as he would be absent-minded. You would leave a conversation with him either because he's talking over your head, very confused, because he was very confusing, because he was making allusions to things that were very esoteric and super high math, or you would be enlightened by the fact that he was able to connect two dots that seemed no way should they be in the same kind of universe or existence. He was very multifaceted, multidimensional, and certainly a contradiction. I met Mark at work, at Interact. He was our chief technology officer. I worked with him also at Mission Mode, where he was the chief technology officer and founder. And it was interesting enough for me to find someone who would be so eloquent and well-versed in science, computer science and technology, and understand business, and be a sharp business person with acumen to understand how to make things work. But being professionally linked to him, it was kind of blurred between our professional relationship and our friendship that we developed. And I think that was probably the same with a lot of the relationships that he had with the folks in this room. He probably ran into you maybe because he had a bad golf game, and you would commiserate over something at the bar, and then find out that you were both huge Creedence Clearwater fans or bluegrass fans. Even his taste in music, Tree explained as being very eclectic. You know, he would love hard rock. He started from high school with Machine Gun Kelly. My last musical experience with him was with Daniel at Flogging Molly at the Ramcat, where it's just like, oh, it totally makes sense. You know, they're a bunch of Irish guys who are punk rockers. That was Mark. It was very much a contradiction. The music that he would make connections with, and we'd have discussions between classical and bluegrass, and he would blur the lines, and the things where there would be a mashup are the things that would really make his eyes shine and light up. And if you didn't get it, he would make your eyes shine and light up when he helped you make that connection. You know, it's funny when I think about, how I would describe, I thought I would describe Mark in one fashion. I spoke with some of you here, it's not going to lie. I was like, he said when they started Mission Mode, he made work really fun. And Mark never retired. He never stopped working because he blurred the lines between work and play. And even at the end of a really difficult day, we would just move from his kitchen table because sometimes the executive team would be out there talking and hammering out some really hard questions and decisions. And then he'd throw drumsticks at me, and Mark Castaneda would grab his guitar, and then we'd just kind of jam out while Mark Fetherolf would hit the keyboards and just go nuts. Work hard, play hard, blurring, work and play. Work was play for him, and I thought that was a neat way to go about it. So I think about the one word that I would use to describe Mark, it would be, he was kind of blurry. He'd just kind of shuffle around and, his hair would be off and he'd be a little bit disheveled. And what you didn't know was that rumpled look was actually well studied. Because he knew it would evoke a certain reaction and give him a certain level of latitude from those around him. So, cool, nerdy, brilliant, absent-minded, raucous, scientific. He was a man of contradiction. And I would meet with him at breakfast every Friday, and we would have deep conversations that I hadn't had since my college days, and have those very deep 3 o'clock conversations about the hard questions, the big questions. And this was something that Mark lived with every day. And although Mark was blurry, I think his life came into sharp, crystal focus when he met Drew. It was wonderful to see them come together and have such a wonderful connection that balanced each other out at that level. He could find humor in horror. He could find just sense out of senselessness. His life was so bright and too fast.